My biggest question was how you assess the properties, I guess. And like you were saying, 20%.
Let's record this one.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So,
Should I start over?
no, I'll repeat the question.
No, repeat the question. Yeah.
So the question was, how do you assess properties? So it's a process. So the first thing is you have to collect all of the data. So you're going to collect all of the data across for every home.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put the properties into what's called land districts and neighborhoods. So a land district means that the land's valued similarly across. A neighborhood is not like a subdivision, but it might be multiple subdivisions where homes that compete against one another in the market. That's typical buyer would go and say, I'd buy here or I'd buy there. So that's what you determine what your neighborhoods are. Then you make sure you've got all the property characteristics. So you've got your square footage, your year built, the condition of the property, the quality of construction, the number of bathrooms. Let's see, that's 5. Any views, location. So once you've got those 7 characteristics, and you're saying 7 characteristics, okay, if I can get 4 of those characteristics, we're good. But you shoot for 7 so that when you have to throw a couple out, you're okay. You take that, and at the county, so here's where we diverge a little bit from what a fee appraiser does and what the county does. So the county has all that data and all that information stored in what's called a computer-assisted mass appraisal system, or CAMA system. And they spend 9 months of the year making sure that data is correct. And then they spend 3 months of the year valuing your property. So they have 266,015 parcels in the county to value in 3 months. So what they do is, in Utah County, they use statistical modeling. Basically, they take all of the characteristics, they take the cells, and they build a model based on the cells. And then they apply that model to what's called the population. Okay, and then once that population is done, you try and re-look at the values to see how they were done. It's called a sales ratio study. So the values are supposed to be between 95 and 105% of value. And fair market value is what's determined, the state tells us to use. And the as-of date for the appraisal is January 1st. So January 1st is when it's valued, and then they run that statistical model. Then you have to check the statistical model to see if it was accurate. So see if the characteristics in the area are good. Do we have all of the same condition on the homes? Do we have all the same quality? You know, if there's an effective age off somewhere, that'll throw off the model. So there's different things to look at. One of the easiest ways to do it, again, they use a sales ratio study to look at the cells and see that everything's there, which is good. It's a standard process across the state. One thing that I like to do is I like to take all of the cells, and then I take all of the fair market values, and I put them in a spreadsheet. And then I just do the simple math. Fair market value divided by sales price. It gives me a percentage. And that percentage should be between 0.95 and 105. If it's less than that, we're low. If it's more than that, we're high. Okay? That's the simple process. You can do a market adjusted cost, which cost approach just is, this is how properties, what it costs to build. So how do we take that to market? Because I might build the most fantastic home in the world, but, and I'll give you an example. I appraised a home up in Jeremy Ranch up in Park City.
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
And it was on the back 9. So very popular spot, very nice spot. The guy was spending $22 million to build his dream house on 2 lots.
Wow.
The challenge is the highest sell in Jeremy Ranch at the time was $3.2 million.
Jeez.
So we've spent $22 million to build this house.
Wow.
And it was something to be seen. You walked in, there was a waterfall like you see in hotels that comes down floor to ceiling. The entire back of the house had disappearing walls that folded into the walls. So in the summer they could just, open it up for parties. Just over the top. But so now what's it worth? I know what it cost. Now we have to adjust it for market. What will the market be willing to pay? So you go and you look for other overbuilts in other similar neighborhoods, and
Okay.
you start looking to see that. That's what the fee appraiser does. Mass appraisal has a hard time with that. So you see a lot of overbuilts, undervalued, because they're not properly neighborhooded. They go and they put them in just the regular neighborhood instead of going and picking the different spots where this type of house would fit in the other areas.
Okay.
And then you can properly value that and not have it. There was one in Alpine that sold for $4.5 million. The county assessor had it valued at $2.3.
It's a big difference.
Wow. It's like double.
What that does is
Jeez.
that makes everybody else pay more tax because they're undervalued. So
Okay, so that brings up a question